Hi there, I'm Bronwyn Fletcher and welcome back to Before Dieting. If you're new here, this podcast is part of the Waiting for Happiness project, where we remove shame so women can discover why they eat the way they do. If you've been following along, you'll know by now that I don't talk much about calories or meal plans. Instead, I talk about systems and their invisible rules that run your food choices and eating patterns. Today's episode is going to be a little different, something a little lighter after the last 3 episodes about the family food culture. I want to take you through an exercise I've done with many women, one that turned out to reveal far more than any of us expected. Officially, I call it the weight of clothes, but really it's a wardrobe exercise. I'll walk you through what other women learned, and then I'll step you through how to do it for yourself so you can see what it uncovers for you. As with many things I describe, the word wardrobe is being used as a generic description. It includes things like your dresser drawers and even clothes that hang behind doors, and maybe even clothes that you've got in storage. The point is to include items you wear every day, even if it's seasonal, but you may not think about them collectively, and particularly you may not think about them as holding a history of your eating system. So let's start with an idea that might surprise you. We're going to look at something that's indirect but directly related to your weight struggle. And your wardrobe is one of the most accurate mirrors of your relationship with food. But let me back up a bit. When I first started giving women this exercise, they thought I'd lost the plot. They expected to talk about weight loss to cover things about hunger hormones or metabolism at least. So when I asked them to visualize their wardrobes, what they found surprised them. First of all, it was something they'd never thought about before. And that was that their wardrobe actually told a story. Yes, some of it was about fashion, style, and colour preference. But when we got down to talking about clothing sizes, what they could and couldn't let go of, that told an entirely different story. I found it was common for all women to have at least 3 sizes of clothing in their wardrobe. And I'm not just talking about size variation that can happen with the different brands. It was they subconsciously knew these were the sizes they needed for when their weight went up and down. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Clothing is one of the few things that's directly tied to body size, and therefore it mirrors our weight and dieting history. If you think about it, it's your diet, hope, and abandonment cycle right there on the hangers in the form of clothing. Once these women had caught on to the idea of the wardrobe telling a story, I asked them to think about dividing the clothes into time zones. And those would be the past, the present, and the future. And in nearly every wardrobe, there were clothes that belonged to their past self. It might be that they were still holding on to that pair of jeans or a dress that once fitted. And of course, there was always the gym gear that they planned to use again once they'd lost a few kilos. But we have to acknowledge that clothes from the past can also be there for other criteria. There might be memory pieces like a wedding dress or something that connects us to a special event or special people. So then we moved on to look at what were the present day clothes, the ones that fitted, the ones that they were wearing on repeat. These ones were more about function than fashion. You heard comments like, they may not make you feel amazing, but they work. The sort of the practical things, the things that kind of blend in. Then we shifted the time frame again to future clothes. Sometimes it was the smaller ones that were bought in faith that once I lose weight, I'll wear this. Some women had clothes hanging in their wardrobes that were 2 or even 3 sizes smaller. They kept these pieces as a goal to reach and a reward waiting in the wings. Clothes in this future category aren't just things to wear, they're acting as motivators. So from a systems point of view, your wardrobe is a goldmine of history. Your wardrobe is one of the few places you can literally see your eating system at work outside of yourself. When these women could stand back and see clothes beyond just as things to wear, they saw a real clear, visible record of their diet, hope, and abandonment cycle. All the diets started and all the diets abandoned. So here's an instruction. If you want to do this exercise for yourself, start by sorting your clothes by size, function, and preference, and just see what patterns emerge from that. Here are some of the other things that women discovered when they were doing this exercise. Number 1 was multiple sizes showed a lack of trust in being able to decide on a weight and stay at it. The second thing was having multiple clothes as goals that they had never worn. Most of them never thought about that before. And the last one was they discovered it's not easy to throw out things that don't currently fit, whether that be larger or smaller. It's like they were all keeping these sizes just in case. These are the actions taken when you're living with an unpredictable eating system that seems to work to its own rhythm. I remember one woman saying that every time she opened a wardrobe, it was like looking at a museum of failed diets. And that comment stayed with me because she was right. It really was her historical archive, a timeline of all the diets that she had tried and abandoned. So what's my point in telling you all of this? Well, it's certainly not to make you feel guilty for what's in your wardrobe. And it isn't about decluttering. This isn't a Marie Kondo exercise. It's about recognising that your weight is following a repeating pattern. Where the bathroom scale can only give you a single number, having new and different types of information can turn evidence into insight. And of course, once you can see it, you can change it. Let me leave you with 2 questions for when you're looking into your own wardrobe. The first, what are the emotions that you have about the smallest and largest sizes? And another one is, what would happen if you let go of the clothes that didn't fit, again, larger pieces and smaller? You don't have to answer these all at once. It's just good to notice what comes up and where your thoughts get taken. Before I go, while systems thinking is the skill set I apply to weight loss, my real mission is to remove shame from any weight conversation so women can understand why they eat in the way they do. And I need your help to get these messages into the hands or ears of women who need it. If this episode has resonated with you, please share it with a friend or rate the podcast so other women can find it. I'll give you my thanks in advance. As always, you can find the Waiting for Happiness online program at waitingforhappiness.com.au. Thanks for listening. Until next time, I'm Bronwyn Fletcher, and you've been listening to Before Dieting.